you. You may be seated.
Ooh, are we having fun yet? Oh, please join me in prayer, opening the service. Center yourself. Take a deep breath in and out, and know that you're in the right and perfect place in the right and perfect time, divinely led. Each breath expanding in love. We thank you for this blessing, universe. And so it is. Would you please join me in saying our convocation? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And another song.
This is a song written by our friend Denise Rosier. Spirit, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are beautiful. Here in the light that surrounds us, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are powerful. Spirit, we are powerful. Trusting in the mind that guides us, we are powerful. In spirit, we are bountiful. Spirit, we are bountiful. And thank you for the life that sustains us. We are bountiful. Go ahead, Mom. Spirit, we are beautiful. Yes, we are. Spirit, we are beautiful. Here in the light that surrounds us, we are beautiful. And spirit, we are powerful. Thank you, God. Spirit, we are powerful. Trusting in the mind that guides us, we are powerful. Let's sing bountiful. And spirit, we are bountiful. Spirit, we are bountiful. And thank you for the life that sustains us. We are bountiful. Spirit, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are powerful. We are powerful, yes. And spirit, we bountiful. We are bountiful.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I am now going to introduce our guest speaker for today. So I have the pleasure of introducing to you Reverend Therese Lee. She has been a Unity True student for 36 years, a prayer chaplain for 24 years, and an ordained Unity minister for 19. Wow. She serves the Unity movement as a coach and mentor, a speaker, a teacher, consultant on church business practices, and retreat leader. She is captivating, authentic, and audacious. Yeah. Her personal practices of prayer, meditation, and compassionate service is dedicated to working with God. Therese has 3 children and is Nana, which I'm told is her favorite title, to 8 grandchildren. She currently is in her 9th year of serving Unity Spiritual Center of Hilton Head as their senior minister. As a grief recovery method specialist, Therese guides others in transforming their lives by accepting change, embracing loss, and allowing for healing of feelings. Her mission is to love out loud. You're in the right place. Please give a warm Unity in Naperville welcome to Reverend Therese Lee.
I don't know who wrote that, but it sounds good. Thanks for having me. So Kitty and I were classmates, and my husband as well. My husband's with God, and so Kitty was friends with him, like obviously I was, and so she was a safe... 19 years doing this 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm still nervous. Then you know you're in the right place, right? My dad would say that if you're behind your knees or sweating in your stomach, you're in the right place, Therese. So Kitty was in our class. There were 30 of us, and there's probably only 5 of us still doing church. Yeah. Now, 2 have transitioned, so they're with us in spirit. I know both of them are here with us today. And so the average minister stays on pulpit 5 years, y'all. Now, I've served 5 or 6 different churches already. Kitty, bless her, because I don't know you all, but I know my people. I don't know I could be with them after 19 years. I know they're probably not watching me, so, you know, just saying, right? So I'm great. You know, we could have just ended right after the songs because Kim isn't, you know, you have no idea what I'm talking about, Kim Shar, but it's about choice. Right? And it's about allowing, right? And then, of course, Kitty and I always had that when we were in school. If it's not fun, we're not doing it, right? And I would say she's audacious as well, don't you think? I think so, yeah. Then the word hope. You spoke of hope, and my definition of hope is helping other possibilities emerge. What I learned it as was hold on, pain ends. Ugh, isn't that just like... You know, your shoulders round and you have an attitude that stinks, right? So I want to ask you this morning, before your feet even hit the ground, did you say, "Good morning, God," or "Good God, it's morning"? Because it's our attitude about life, yes, that changes us. And attitudes are contagious. I have to slow down when I speak. So attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? That's what we get to ask ourselves every single day, right? What I love about Unity is, as Kim Shar said, there's a choice. We always have choices. So I want to introduce you to somebody that you probably haven't met before. Donna Faye, will you stand up? You don't know her. This is the woman that introduced me to Unity. She lives in Batavia. Maybe she'll be back. It depends on how all y'all treat her. Just, you know, I'm from South Carolina, so you have to learn how to say all y'all. And flip your hair. Obviously, I have to do this side, yeah. So Donna Faye and I have been long friends, and she said, I think there's this church you're going to like. I don't do church. I don't do church. And here I are, right? All these years later, here we are. So what I want us to talk about when I spoke with Kitty, I said, how about we talk about embracing change? And she says, yeah, that'll be great. How big is that topic? Right? As big as the world. So let's talk about it and bring it home a little bit about embracing the change that happens, whether we want it or not. How many have things happen that they don't want to happen? Tell the truth, stay in church, right? Yep, right? So we get to open our hearts, and that's why I chose this picture. So I lived here for 43 years. I've been gone for 24. Yesterday I turned 67. Thank you. And how perfect is that graphic, right? So how many times did we go to Morton Arboretum all those years when I lived here? So can we navigate change in our lives when, in fact, sometimes it comes as a fast pitch, doesn't it? And we're not quite sure. So the change is happening, and then wait, how am I in relationship with the people in my life? And then how are we in relationship as a community? Right? Online as well as in person. I have the same where I am in Hilton Head. And then in the midst of all of that, how do we be who we've come here to be? That means we've got to spend time in the quiet, or not, because I'm loud, but I can pray in a minute. I can be, I learned how to be a prayer chaplain at Fox Valley Unity. And I remember my licensed teacher was like, we're going to let you try this. We're just not sure. Nancy Leahy, who serves now in Naples, bless her heart. And she would be like, we're just not sure, Therese. And I'm like, okay. So of course we get in there and I'm praying like there's no tomorrow. I'm like Mother Teresa, right? And she was so shocked, and I'm like, look, there's a both and in life. That's what balance is about. That's what fun's about. We can laugh, we can cry, we can be joyous, and we can be solemn. It's always all of that, right? So I'm wondering, how do you stay connected to your heart? Open it in the midst of change. So you're having shoulder surgery. You've also had some loss, right? Because you can't move, you have to ask, then what do you have to do? You gotta ask people for help. Oh, Lord, have mercy that we would do that, right? So this is what we get to learn, is that we're not sure when the change is gonna happen, how often it will happen, and so prepare yourself on a daily basis to be open to it, to embrace it, and to allow it. So our affirmation that I chose for today is, keeping my heart open, I stay present to this now moment. So let's say that again together. Keeping my heart open, I stay present to this now moment. What I know is that this is all we have. And if we're planning what's for lunch, oh my God, what will she talk about in that discussion later? How long will it be? When can I leave, right? Stay present. Forget all that was behind you that brought you here this morning, and open your arms, open your eyes and your ears today. So our Unity co-founder, Charles Fillmore, says, embrace change, for it is the only constant in life. Adaptability is the key to growth and progress. And we know that Charles was always in his head, wasn't he? And I don't know if you all knew this, but Myrtle was also a sassy, audacious redhead. Right, so I don't channel her, but quite feel like I'm certainly, on the right path. And here's what she says, and she kind of embellishes it a little bit with some flourish. When the individual keeps their mind in tune with God mind, they know constant harmony, order, success, and health. By following the teachings of Jesus the Christ, and we know this, don't we, that Christ was what? Jesus' job description, not his last name. Right? It's your job description and mine. We're all the Christ. We used to have to do that in class. We'd be like, hi, Kitty the Christ, and hi, Therese the Christ. Quite awkward. And we loved it, of course. We loved it, right? So we're going to follow the teachings of Jesus the Christ and seeking guidance of the Most High. That's the highest and the best within each of us, so that there is no room for a negative thought. Health and harmony, Myrtle says, is the one presence and the one power in the universe. You know this about each other, don't you? You step up, you supporting, you welcomed back to have beautiful music. How did I know that she was going to be here? I just thought she was always here. That's how well I know her through Kitty's ministry, right? So all of those statements sound so spiritual, don't they? They just sound so nice and kind. And yet in the midst of life, how do we stay centered? How do we know who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to show up? So the author and a friend of Unity, Byron Katie, I don't know how many of you know her work. It's called Loving What Is. It's called The Work because it is work. She says, stop fighting reality. And when you do, the suffering will stop. Okay, so I learned about her back at Fox Valley back in the 80s and 90s. I'm still learning about that every day because I think I'm in charge. Anybody else have a control gift? It's a gift. Everything from God is a gift, right? And so what happens, though, is when the ego gets involved, then it becomes not so pretty, right? So we've got lots of suggestions on how to be, from Myrtle and Charles and Byron, Katie, and yet change is still going to happen. Shift happens. Careful how you hear that. Because I'm not responsible for what you hear. I don't know if Kitty ever told you that, but I'm telling you this. We are not responsible as speakers for what you hear, right? And our other job is to what? Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. So there's going to be a little afflicting going on today, but I know you'll be fine. Albert Einstein always called these shifts holy shifts. And this is, on the internet, it's like check your memes. I have done the research, and he did call that. Everything is better when we put holy in front of it, isn't it? And so if we're allowing for shift to happen, then it's less smelly. And then it allows us to embrace it and to allow it to continue to happen. My question always is for my people is, are you willing? Because remember, it takes only a little itty bitty bit of willingness to then allow for the shift to happen, for the curiosity to step forward, right? To say, oh, how can I be in relationship with this person when they're hurting? I probably heard so many times, shouldn't you be over grieving because he's been gone quite a while now? And I, being audacious, give him the international peace sign instead of the other one, because I want to give him the other one, right? Wouldn't you? Yeah. And so the thing is, we get to be real, and we get to honor our hearts by opening them. Because when a change or a loss happens, the brain isn't broken, y'all. It's our heart that gets broken. And if we don't honor our feelings, we're going to get verklempt. That's an official word. And it's going to stuff you up with stuff, and it shows up in other ways. And I know when I'm not honest with my feelings, I show up as a not very pretty Therese, even in my ministerial role, right? And that happens when we react rather than respond. So sometimes the change comes and it creates joy, right? And then other times it comes and it creates a loss. And I know as a Catholic kid growing up, I wasn't ever given the tools on how to deal with change. It started very early in my life. From brothers and sisters being born, I'm the middle child of 11. Everybody breathe. Yeah, I'm happy for the new Pope. I am. I think there's, yay, Leo, he's my age, right? So when we pause and we allow the curiosity to come, we can then start identifying. Have you ever felt sad or glad after something happened? When you're honest with yourself, you will. Or maybe you're mad or angry, right? And not really understanding why. And so I'm going to give you some tools today to walk away with, I hope. And so you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Therese. I'm so happy to have moved to Naperville. I'm so relieved that this job or relationship or situation has ended, right? We've been in these situations. I do exercise and I eat right, and yet the doctor gave me a diagnosis. And what we forget is that God is the prognosis, because we're so stuck with what was on that piece of paper, right? Anyone else been there? Yeah, you might be there now. So you might say, well, Therese, then why am I feeling, verklempt or unsettled or anxious? I might have, experience of anxiety Because, in unity, we're taught everything's for me, everything is good. No, what I heard you say earlier was goodness. There's a difference, yes? So be assured, I have no answers. And if anyone gives you the answers, go ahead and give them that international peace sign again. Nobody has your answers. They come from within. And that's what the Fillmores, both of them, have said that in different documents that we found. All our answers will come from within us. Now, we can get help by music, by the songs and the words, by someone speaking, possibly by a class, right? However, when we have to make those decisions, go within and make make the decisions from that point. So I have what I call a AAA package: accept, acknowledge, and allow. And how I got to those words is I was asked as a grief recovery specialist to work with my little town called Bluffton, which is right off the island of Hilton Head, during the time of COVID. And the woman who was a Unity student said to me, will you come and talk to my community, to the city, about grief? I'm like, don't call it grief. No males will show up, number one, and everyone else is gonna be like, no one died, why would I go to that? However, if you say, can we accept change and acknowledge loss, and then allow for feelings to be healed, maybe they'll show up. Well, we had about 150 people, men in their work clothes and boots, and all the other people came, and we did a burning bowl. They had no idea they were processing. It's great when you can pull that over on people, right? They have no idea what they're doing, and they walk away happy and like, whoa, that felt so good, not realizing that they had just been spiritualized, right? Right? It's not the toxic positivity that's out there. It's about understanding different words can be used to get to the same feeling within us. So we get to accept that change happens, yes? So just me driving, so my sister lives in Lisle. I have 4 sisters who live here currently, and I don't know how many nieces and nephews. That's how many I have. And so I was driving from Lisle this morning, and I know the roads because I lived here for so long, but I thought, let me take the back roads and dilly-dally. So I did that, or I didn't get on 88, which used to be 5 when I lived here. That's how long ago I lived here, right? So we accept the change, we acknowledge that change is gonna happen, and that we're not in control, right? That's the biggest thing, like to realize, woof, when we let go, it means we have to open our hands. We don't get to hold on like this. We have to open our hands. And then we get to allow for the feelings. We get to allow. So we have tool belts we wear, right? And so these are going to be the tools that you're going to add in today, because we don't always get to be in charge of the plan of our life. Right? So I knew this is what I'm doing. I knew yesterday I was at a wedding shower, right? And I know I'm going to have lunch with Donna Faye, and we're going to talk it all up about y'all, right? And then I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen after that, right? Even if I have a plan. So can we stay connected to our feelings? And I remember I used to be in sales and publish magazines in the steel industry way before I found God and had my calling, so to speak. And I would remember them saying, the longest journey from your heart, in life is from your head to your heart space, right? The longest 18 inches in your life, yeah? And so we try to think our way through things, right? Because that's what we did. And what I love about the evolution of the Unity movement is we're moving out of just always thinking about it and then processing, right? And then stepping out, as our 5th Unity principle says, to help. So grief is the word that I want to talk about. It's the G word no one ever says, right? And you're thinking, but wait a minute, why? Oh, shift. Why is she going to talk about grief? I don't know anybody who died. Okay, grateful you haven't had that yet. However, someone might have lost a job, right? I had to have shoulder surgery, so I've been out for a couple weeks. My best friend is moving away. Oh, I have that diagnosis from the doctor. Oh, my favorite restaurant closed. I haven't been to Portillo's yet. I will go, right? Oh, my child's going to college. I have a grandson going to college. I have no idea how that happened. Lord have mercy, right? I got to walk my pet over the Rainbow Bridge, right? And the list goes on and on and on. And then we go, oh, wait a minute. Unity says to be grateful. We get to have our attitude of gratitude. Yes. And we get to say and be real with what our heart is saying. So the best definition of grief I have found, and why I became a grief recovery specialist, is grief is the normal and natural reaction to loss and change of any kind. It's the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a pattern of behavior. Did anyone hear death in there? Right? So just the fact that I don't really know how 59 will be when I drive to Mount Prospect. I don't even know if you take 59 anymore. I got to put it in my GPS. But I was driving around the suburbs. My girlfriend's like, when are you showing up? I'm like, I don't know. I took 290 to Elmhurst. I was supposed to be going this way, thinking, I don't need GPS. I know, I lived here. I'm a Chicago girl. Yeah. Okay, so I went to Elmhurst and turned around and came back and then, went to Mount Prospect. So Route 83 is still the same as it was, So can we get to this in our life? And then how do we be in relationship with someone who might be having the change that's affecting our relationship, right? It happens in community too. Absolutely it does. So what I like about this, first of all, is everybody breathing? I can't really see all y'all. So remember to breathe in, and then we get to remember to exhale. So we breathe in and we exhale. So what I love about this grief stuff is as much as I love unity. So back at Fox Valley, so it's the early 90s, they had 2 services. I went in the morning and I stayed until the afternoon and then whatever class, and then, maybe we'd go golfing after that, right? And it's about living authentically. It's about understanding I get to be real with myself and I get to pause and understand when in fact I need to move from the head to the heart space. Because the brain isn't broken. The heart is what's hurting, right? So there's also accumulated grief, there's, forgotten grief, there's all sorts of names of all of that. I just like to call it loss and change. Sounds so much nicer, doesn't it? And you won't scare as many people away, right? So when I see people, and I go to Unity Village a lot, and my husband's responsible for how beautiful the courtyard is in there, and the Nehemiah retreats with Diane and Pete from here who come. And there's some people who approach like, oh, shift, here she comes. She's gonna wanna talk about her husband. Or they'll be like, hey, hi, can I tell you my favorite Tom Lee story, right? So it's really about them. It's really not about me showing up, because I'll always talk about them, right? Kitty and I have great conversations. So unity and heart math go together. Yes, I know Kitty talks about that. And Doc Childers is a big fan of unity. He says, dare to connect with your heart. You will be lifting not only yourself each time you do this, but those you love and care about, as well as those you don't know in the rest of the world. Why? Because we're energy, yes? And it keeps emanating out from us. So that's why we pray here, and we know people in Kerrville, Texas are being affected, right? Or overseas, or wherever we are, because that's the presence of energy. Your heart will keep hurting until you pay attention to it. And it might show up as a disease. It might show up another car accident. I got in 4 car accidents before I realized, oh, maybe I need to be divorced. And I remember, I didn't know Donna Faye then, but I knew someone else, and she's like, so what are you not dealing with? I'm like, I just was in 4 car accidents. I'm fine. I had a big Chicago attitude back then. I've been a little southernized. And they're like, no, like there's something you're not dealing with, and Spirit's trying to get your attention. I'm like, okay, let me pay attention, right? So it sounds heavy and serious, and yet what I want you to know is that as our heart becomes aware, lightness happens. There's going to be, your shoulders are going to stand taller and head high as you realize, oh, look at me making manifest myself as sincere and authentic. And that's how we present ourselves to the world. Who doesn't like authentic and real? If they don't, you don't really want them in your life, right? We don't. We want to be able to be real and authentic because it is life-sustaining. It is. And that's when people say, how do you know this stuff works, Therese? I said, because I'm still here and I'm breathing without oxygen, right? So after 36 years, right, it's a big deal to live these principles, and I love them. I love them. So we accept the change, we acknowledge that change is going to continue to happen, and then we go, wait a minute, I'm fine, but let me help you, because I'm sure you have something. Oh, and you? I probably can help you too. No. Mind your own business, stay in your lane, As Mel Robbins says, what? Let them stay not fixated on yourself, but look at yourself and say, hey, I am going to deal with myself. Because when we become other-directed and we want to be a fixer, or I have the best advice, yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if you do, but I just turn it off and like I become glazed. My eyes kind of, get cross-eyed. Like I don't really need your advice, but thanks for offering it, right? So self-awareness is a must. And I remember, back at Fox Valley, I didn't understand all that because I was so new to it, to all of these new thoughts, that I thought, because I was raised, as a Catholic, that you always thought of yourself last. I was really good at that. My weight showed it, the way I lived, and then all of a sudden I'm learning these new principles. Like, wait a minute, I get to put myself first. I get to have a relationship with the God of my own understanding. What? Oh my goodness, yes. Because then what happens is the pivot. We learned to pivot during COVID really well, I think. But we get to pivot and then figure out how to go forward. And to know, with the help of all the teachings that we have in Unity and of course everything else that's out there, because there's so many good ones, we get to stay in our lane, let them be, right, so that I can be. So the other thing I try to teach is even if you've had a death in your life or you've lost a job, or your pet has gone over the rainbow bridge, I still do not know how you feel. And when I teach my classes, I'll say, so I am a widow, right? I have a husband who's with God, wherever that is. It depends on where you think God is. Dorothy Pearson will tell you, God is here in your heart space. So open your shirt, everybody, and say, hello, God. Hello, God. So I'm going to divert from my script a little bit here. So my granddaughter is 10, and she goes to a Christian school. Isn't that nice? And so the teacher says, who knows where God is? And Madison's hand goes up, and she's got this long brown hair, and she raises her hand. And the teacher's like, well, Madison, where is God? And so she pulls open her shirt. She's like, Madison Lee, why are you looking down your shirt? And Madison, imagine a 10-year-old, who's quite really introverted, is like, well, I'm looking at God. And the teacher's like, what? You're looking down your shirt. And she says, no, I'm looking at my heart space, and that's where God lives. And the teacher says, who told you that? She goes, my Nana. And my Nana works for God. Dorothy Pearson was also a redhead, knew Charles Fillmore. And I got to be her end-of-life caregiver. Kitty knew her as well. And so this is what she would tell us. Therese, you work for God. Unity might pay you, but you work for God. And when you forget, so I do this at funerals, I tell everybody, and people walk away like, oh, look at me. I know where God is. I'm sad, and yet I can look down my shirt and be in my heart space and see whatever the person, I just did a funeral last week, right? So we're going to see Brad, every time in our mind's eye, because it's close as our breath. That's where Holy Spirit resides as well, right? So each of us, we say this from day one, each of us in Unity are unique, unrepeatable expressions of God, right? And we're not looking to have everybody conform. How boring would that be, right? And so what we get to do also then is honor each other, as you already do here, I know, as part of your community, in showing up, but also in your loss and change that happens in your life, right? Because it leaves us space to be with each other. And I'm going to tell you, it's simple to do these things, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy when you're in the midst of it, in the throes of it all. And so what I found interesting when I learned about this, and my board paid for me to go be a grief recovery specialist. I've just buried my 48th congregant. So I went right before COVID hit because we were having so many deaths. And it was 2 men that founded this. Imagine, men, close your ears. Imagine a man. What? They realized their head was not broken, their heart was broken. That's the whole premise of this. There's no theology in it. It's all about understanding that your heart is broken and you have to be real with your feelings. I'm like, yes, I am in 100%, right? So being real with not only ourselves, right, but with everyone you're in relationship with. So yesterday I got to see some sisters, one who hasn't spoken to me in 15 years. Like, hi. That's all we did was hi. I said, let me be real. I said, hi. And she went, okay. You got to remember that one because they really never know what's behind it. Seriously, right? So we're 100% human and we're 100% divine all the time. So was Jesus. He always claimed that, right? Exalt the cause, not the person. And so we get to deal with our ego. We get to deal with our feelings. We get to deal with our emotions and not judge them. Just be with them. To know that as I'm with you and I'm listening to you, that my heart it's a heart with ears on it, right? They call it active listening, I guess, is another term we learned in seminary, right? So no anticipation of what I'm going to say to you. It's about being present. And we learn that as prayer chaplains, don't we? To just create the sacred space. And we hear what you say, and then, of course, we're going to pray what we're led to pray with you. So we get to be with each other and not wanting anyone to be different, better, or more. Imagine. Just total acceptance of somebody. I didn't learn that as a kid, right? So we get to see the lightness of this, yes? So if I'm just going to accept you in all of your quirkiness, all of your loveliness, right? Then guess what? You get to love my audaciousness as well. I had someone ask me a couple weeks ago, because they asked me what one of my core values is, and I said to be audacious, and she's like, what does that even mean? You know, how, like, they don't know, they haven't told their face. What does that even mean? And I said, well, what do you think it means? You know, so we had this conversation. And I said, oh, that's not what it means at all. It means I'm going to be present and real with everyone I'm with. She's like, oh, that's a really good definition. Thank you. So we are all possibilitarians. Are you willing? Are you willing to step up? And if you now have to use a walker, you decorate the walker. Right? If you get the diagnosis, you know right away. And I say this to doctors, oh, thank you for this piece of paper. I got one a couple months ago. I said, but I'll be talking with God because God's the prognosis. Imagine the doctor's face. Yeah, like, wait, you talk to God? I'm like, oh, you don't know that I'm a minister. Yes, I do, right? And then have the crucial conversation, right? And bring it and say, hey, so now what am I supposed to do about this now that this paper says this? And yet I know the truth of me is wholeness and divine, right? And talk to it. Myrtle never mentioned her tuberculosis in the 2 years she was healing herself. Instead, she gave thanks for all the different centers in her body, never mentioning what the dis-ease was that she was supposed to die of because every other woman in her family had died of that, right? So you can turn the empty college room into maybe a Zen den or a she shed. I'm not sure, right? You can, right, a man cave, right? And you can schedule Zoom time with people to be with them as changes happen and people move and things like that. You can go to Unity Village and now spread your pet's ashes at the Rainbow Bridge that we created with the NGU last year. Yep, you should have seen those 18 to 35-year-olds. Man, they really work, and they were so happy to create that. You can use your time off before you get a new job to see what is my mission. I hope you all have mission statements. We shared earlier, mine is to love out loud, which has nothing to do with volume, by the way. Although, as a middle child of 11, I can be quite loud, right? But who have you come here to be? What is uniquely yours to do? So let me refocus let me recap as we end this and before we go into meditation together. So I get to focus on myself. This is for you guys. To be real with your own stuff, right? To listen, to understand, rather than respond. To realize there's no fixing another, ever. To demonstrate, as you walk through your example, that you go within before you go without. Right? To get the awareness and the answers. To know that quiet is okay. I didn't learn that till I was probably 35. I had been in Unity about 6 years at that time. Because in my household, if it was quiet, someone was in trouble. Right? So that, and my teacher was like, can you Can we get you to quiet? I'm like, is someone in trouble? You know, imagine that teacher. Lord, have mercy. Yeah. So quiet is okay, and it's good for you. And if you go to the gym and sing, and that's how you're getting in your spirituality, do that. Whatever works for you. So we accept change, we acknowledge loss, and we allow for the feelings so they can be healed. That's the takeaway for today. That grief is the natural and normal reaction to change and loss. So listen to your heart, open it up, let it lead the way, and be authentic with yourself. You know, just know that it's okay to be authentic and real with yourself, and therefore then you'll be able to be that in relationship with another as you embrace the change and open your heart. So take a moment, close your outer eyes as you're comfortable, and take a deep breath in and exhale. And do it again. A deep breath in and exhale. And we use our breath as a tool to go ever deeper within, where each of us meets the God of our own understanding. And we pause there. And we breathe in again. Allow your body to relax. Let the chair support you. And remember to keep breathing. And allow the state of calm to have its way with you, so to speak. And every time we inhale, we can inhale love and then exhale understanding. Knowing that being in relationship with ourselves and with another is the gift of being human. And we breathe into the knowing that as we accept, it allows us to acknowledge and be real. That then allows us to feel and then heal. And so we embrace all of the unknown. We have no idea what's going on in the world, except for what we're able to find through the news source that we find. And my invitation is sometimes turn off the TV. Turn off the TV. Breathe into the knowing that as a unique, unrepeatable expression of God, you are needed in this world. Your tenacity, your audacity, your presence, your quietness, your magnificence. Each of us unique, that creates this community called Unity in Naperville. Bringing the gifts of your presence here each Sunday or each class time online, and creating this sacred container. Feel gratitude for this place, for the air conditioning, yes? We're not even in the dog days of summer yet. For the music that has its way with us. The melody that keeps us breathing and our heart beating. For all that make this Sunday service possible, the technicians and the behind the scene people that allow for a time for Reverend Kitty to be away and to take care of herself. That's the greatest gift I am honored to witness. Each moment brings a chance, a choice for us to love and to understand, to encourage that hope emerges, helping other possibilities emerge. And we continue to breathe. And we allow something to come to our minds, something that we're grateful for. It could be your favorite visiting minister or food that's going to be had this afternoon. It could be your favorite show or your favorite person. Just let a smile come to your face as you think about something you're grateful for. The very science of heart math tells us it is impossible to be grateful and unhappy at the same time. So again, that word that Kim Shar used, to have a choice. So choose gratitude and allow us to be grateful as we go into a time of silence together. Full from the head to the toes with gratitude. As we bring our attention back to this time and this place, I invite you to keep your outer eyes closed as I read you a poem. It's called Will You? Will you hold my hand for a little while? I don't need you to save me, no need to fix anything, no need for you to carry my pain. Rather, will you simply hold my hand? I don't need your words or your thoughts or your shoulders to carry me. Rather, will you sit here with me for a while in the silence? While my tears stream, while my heart opens, while my mind settles down. Will you, with the very presence of all that you are, let me know that I am not alone? For my darkness is mine to face, and my pain is mine to feel, and my wounds are mine to heal. Will you sit with me here while I courageously show up for myself, my dear? For I am bright because I know of darkness. I am beautiful because I have been broken. I am strong and I have strength because of my tender heart. Will you take my hand lovingly? Will you be with me? I would surely love it if we could just sit and be. Will you hold my hand and let me be? And so it is. Amen.
Can we thank Reverend Therese? Yes. You didn't see it. Someone in the audience is throwing up the peace sign. Shift happens, and there is definitely shift, and we will be blessed with your message and possibilities and blessings for eternity. Your presence here has been appreciated. Wow. All right. We have come to a time in the service where you can extend your financial gifts to help support Unity in Naperville. And those of you online, if you feel blessed and called, we welcome your gifts as well. The information is on the screen, as usual. You can scan the QR code, you can donate here or outside with credit card, and you can also log into the website to submit your donations there. So, let's go ahead and speak our offering blessing. No? After. Oh, that's not what Kitty wrote.
You're the boss. We could do it right now, baby.
Okay.
We could do it 2, 3, 4 times.
Shift happens.
That's right. Divine love.
Yes. So, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Ushers, will you please come forward?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning. I'm Beth, and I am very grateful to be able to share the announcements with you today. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're very glad you're here. Please complete the goldenrod registration form at the welcome table and leave it with the information desk. We'll keep you posted about our upcoming events. Virtual newcomers can sign up for the weekly e-news at unityinnaperville.org. Our Food for Thought meets today after the service in the cafe, and I hear Deb and Parker have really knocked themselves out with lunch. Monday Morning Metaphysics meets tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on Zoom. They're studying Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. Join Sisters in Spirit Saturday at 7 p.m. for a concert featuring American English, a Beatles tribute band, at Cantini in Wheaton. Let's go to lunch next Sunday. After service, we'll meet at Patelli's Gyros and Beef. We're collecting school supplies the next 2 Sundays to help the children of grandparents raising grandchildren. See the e-news for a list of supplies needed, or pick one up. It's a green sheet over on the counter in the cafe after service. And note that this year we're not doing backpacks, just school supplies. Financial contributions are also welcome. Tickets for Answers from the Afterlife on Saturday, August 30th are now on sale at the info table or at our website. Save $10 when you purchase in advance. For details or special instructions on all of our events, please read the event calendar at unityinnaperville.org or see the e-news on Tuesdays. Our prayer chaplain today is Kyra. She did a great job with the service, right? She's available to pray with you in the prayer room after the service, or you can email your name and a phone number to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and a chaplain will call you by 1 p.m. today. Thanks.
And so a reminder, we're having food for thought right after. So we'll do a closing song right now, but we won't do our normal exiting song because I know we'll all be racing for the counter to get our meal, and so we can just jump into our lively discussion. So once again, let's thank our guest speaker, Therese. Thank you so much for blessing us. And I invite you now to stand as you're able for our closing song. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Did we have fun? Some of us may have cried, but it's all good. So before you leave today, make sure you greet somebody you have yet to meet or forgot their name, but recognize their face. Doesn't matter, we're all family. And before we'll say our closing affirmation. Together, I welcome change as a powerful force for growth. So it is.